Forza Motorsport just released Update 9, which is the Endurance Tour, which brings in a new track and a new car, and my new favorite event, really, with the endurance races. We get Sebring International Raceway here from Florida. It was built on an old World War II bomber airfield, and it's now available in the endurance races and in the multiplayer rotation for Forza Motorsport. Now, if you log in for a limited time, I think about a week for right now, you will be able, for free, to be able to get the Porsche 963 combo, which you get the Porsche 963 and the Porsche racing suit for your character. It's a really fun car to get. It's going to be free on the Microsoft Store, Steam Store, and pretty much any other store where it's available. And this, like I said, is a lot of fun. Hopping into the Porsche 963 here, we're hopping onto Sebring as well. Haven't driven this car or gotten to drive this track yet, so I wanted to give both a test drive to see how it felt. Sebring, being built on an old World War II airfield, is very notorious for having extremely bumpy roads along the airfield here, and I wanted to see how those would feel. And you can definitely see the car jittering around coming down the first straight here into the corner. This last section of the track is really one of my favorite parts of the track, as you get a really great view of the airfield here. Seeing that airplane take off is really just a cool sight to see while you're racing. And it's quite a challenging and technical little part along the back end of the lap here. I'm going to go a little bit off the track as I, again, haven't drove this car, really getting used to it. And just got a long straight here. You can see all the marks from the airfield. And coming into this last corner, you can definitely see the bumpiness and feel the bumpiness. The car is jittering around a lot, trying to keep it stable along the curve here, and that's going to complete our first lap here for the Sebring and the Porsche 963. With Sebring International now being in the multiplayer rotation, I wanted to give it a shot with an actual endurance race. Hopping into the GT spec, which really seemed to be the most popular of the lobbies for endurance races. Gonna put our first qualifying lap down, and our only qualifying lap, as we don't have a whole lot of practice time. Coming down the straight here, using the Porsche RSR, one of the featured spotlight cars for Endurance Month. And this is really just one of my favorite GT cars. It's a lot of fun to drive, it's really responsive, and it just shreds through the turns, which I feel like I'm flying through the turns. It just feels like butter. Even with the bumpiness of the road, the car is barely moving. And that's going to be our qualifying lap of 204.5. It's going to give us a qualifying of 6th position here on the grid. We're going to have 15 laps on Sebring. We got a full 24 lobby. Half of them aren't going to finish. Pretty close on the start. Bentley coming up on the right. We're coming into the first turn here. One of the things I've been really enjoying about the endurance races this month is a lot of people aren't going in for the first turn and just kamikazes. We got 15 laps and people are really just taking their time, trying to be smart about it, and just not really pushing people off the track too much. Well, except for this part right here, we're gonna have like 3 of them go off the track. But endurance racing, I feel, will really be a change in the Forza community and the kind of attitude that a lot of it has right now, which really is just seen as a ramming simulator. And I'm hoping that we'll get a little bit more skilled racing with these endurance. Because along with just the hard racing, you have fuel and tire. Well, not necessarily as much fuel as you can really you don't have to worry much about full fuel. You can just go full tank and you'll be fine. But the tires definitely play a big part into who will really win the race and where you'll place in the race. I started out with hard compound tires here because I really wasn't sure what would be the best strategy to go for. I'd never done an endurance race before. It was my very first endurance race. And so my strategy pretty much was to just see where the hard tires would get me here for this first part of the race, and then probably just take it from there and see if I wanted to go with medium or hards. We're coming in towards the back end of the lap here, coming up on 5th place, still holding our 6th position that we qualified in, but we're right on the back of this Ford GT coming into the straight, drafting in 3 long, and we're going to come into this horseshoe 3 long, just continuing to draft behind these 3. Tucking it in a little bit tighter than they are, going to be able to get alongside both of them here coming into turn 2, or lap 2, I'm sorry. Ford GT is going to pull up alongside us, having a better acceleration than us, but we are going to be able to beat him out into the corner, going alongside right behind the NSX here. Coming into this corner here, we're going to have some very close racing here, going to go a little bit off the track. And we are going to take 5th position as he just struggles with the traction and goes way wide. We're coming into lap 4 here. We're going to be coming up onto this NSX that we've been following after that, taking 5th place from that Ford GT. And we are going to start getting close enough to just go for the move and get right alongside him. His NSX is going to have us in the straightaway though, as we do have to fall back behind him and start to draft with him. Gonna keep closing in, keep closing that gap here on the NSX. Go for the inside, get right up on his bumper, try not to make any contact, and we are gonna go a little bit longer, better line than NSX coming out, being able to carry some more speed. And we are gonna get right up behind him again. And this is one of those instances where the endurance race really makes a difference, as in any normal race, I really feel like another person would have just gone really straight for that as he's backed out. We're coming into lap 5 and we're going to start seeing some of that tire pit strategy come in as we pass number 4 here, and coming into lap 6 we're going to take almost 1st place as we see a lot of them start to enter the pit. Coming into turn 7, this is going to be our pit lap as our tires are pretty much cooked at this point, the hard compound, and you can really tell they're struggling into the turns. Pit strategy going to be a big part of just how the race will go. Coming back out of the pits, we are going to be in 6th position, dropped from 2nd to 6th during that pit. Coming on to the straight here, we're going to see how just one mistake can really make a huge difference, passing straight by the Audi here that seemed to have made a big crash. He passed by us earlier during the race, and we are going to start having a battle out with him. He's right alongside of our bumper, right behind us, and he is going to pass us along the outside here. Can kind of tell who has what tire compound, as he kind of seems to have a medium tire compound, being able to break me out from the inside there, and he is going to kind of just pull ever slightly away from us in each and every turn coming out. You can definitely tell coming through the straightaway as he slowly is pulling that time away from us, just each 1/10 of a second by each 1/10 of a second. Get right behind him, being able to stay pretty close behind him in these curves here with the Porsche showing his strength, but he is just going to pull away from us onto the straightaway here. Coming into lap 11 or lap 12, this is going to be our fastest lap of the race. Coming in, going to take 1st place, passing everyone in the pits, and coming into the 1st turn, going to drop it down into 4th gear, carry the speed through the turn, hug as tight as we can towards that wall, and bring it towards the outside here. Coming into the next turn, going to drop it down into 2nd gear, tuck it towards the inside, carry it towards the outside, just curve it a little bit, hit the brakes again, bring it into the curb, and back onto the gas. And just keep flattening out through this curve here, coming onto the straightaway. Hit heavy braking zone into 2nd gear, really park it, bring it around the curve, and back onto the gas again. Gonna stay on the gas through this curve, just continuing to stay flat out. Gonna brake into this turn, second gear, tuck it around the inside, carry it towards the outside, tuck it back in towards the inside, shift to the third gear, and just flat out through the turn, being able to really just have that downforce to keep us gripped down into the curve. Gonna go right, tuck it into the inside, bring it back out to the outside on the gas, and just go flat out once again. Really, Sebring is an incredibly fun track, even with all the bumps. It's technical, lots of curves and lots of straightaways. It really seems balanced and just tons of fun. Been having lots of fun with it being in the multiplayer rotation for the road endurance and for the featured tours in Forza Motorsport Update 9 this month. Coming into the straightaway here and coming into the horseshoe, gonna hit the brakes, drop it in down to fourth gear, carry the speed around the turn, get back onto the gas, and just really carry as much speed around the curve as we can coming into the finish here. And that would be our fastest lap of 2:03.293. Coming into the second to last lap here, our second set of hard compounds are pretty much cooked, and this pit decision right here would cost me the entire race, the first place. I thought that going to soft tires would be a good decision, and it really would not. Coming back out of the pits in the 7th place, and this is pretty much where we would say for the rest of the race. Coming into the last little bit of the race, coming around the final curve, 3 seconds off of 6th place, dropping it down to 2.4, but it's not going to quite be enough, and we are going to finish in 7th place just because of that last pit stop that I made for soft tires. Another one of those decisions where, thinking back, it probably would have been better for me to either go hard, medium, medium, or for me to just go medium, medium, medium. And this is something we'll start to develop as we do more and more of these endurance races, and the community gets more accustomed to these endurance races, and you'll probably start to see what I think would be a meta tire strategy. If you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more, then I'd greatly appreciate it if you leave a like, subscribe, and a comment, and thanks for watching.